Everyone, chill. Let's not panic. This isn't going to be a Dragon Ball versus One Piece video. This isn't a power scaling video between Super Saiyan 4 Goku versus Gear 5 Luffy. None of that. This is just me asking you guys the question on why I think Super Saiyan 4 broke the internet, whereas Gear 5 Luffy didn't. Okay, so please guys, let's not hate on each other. These are two of my favorite series of all time, and I constantly make references to these two shows whenever I make content. So you guys know I have love for both of these series. So again, I cannot emphasize this enough. Let's keep it respectful in the comments and let's have fun in discussing this topic. Now, for me, when I saw episode 18 of Daima, I couldn't believe what I was seeing. The fight scenes at the beginning with Goku and King Goma was epic, and it seems as though both Goku and Majin Buu double team might actually defeat King Goma. But no, that wasn't the case. King Goma, with the power of his third eye, is just unbeatable, and it seems like he has unlimited stamina. But then Neva walks to Goku as Goku is laying on the floor. Neva seemed to tap into the very dormant Saiyan soul and DNA within Goku and transformed Goku into Super Saiyan 4. Epic doesn't even describe this moment. My mouth was on the floor. For the first time in a long time, I was actually speechless. As Goku's skin was transforming into red skin, I was saying to myself, no way. They're not going to do this. This isn't what I think it is. No way. We have Dragon Ball GT where Super Saiyan 4 is basically their transformation. Whilst in the canon Dragon Ball story, Super Saiyan God and Super Saiyan Blue is the actual canon transformation after Dragon Ball Z, and it's Dragon Ball Super and the canon story's transformation. Which is why as I was seeing Goku transform, I was both in shock and in disbelief. I kept on saying to myself, no, this isn't happening. There's no way Goku is going to transform into a Super Saiyan 4. I initially thought he might transform to Super Saiyan God with the red aura, but seeing the red fur, the red tail, I knew what was coming. But only until the transformation finished. That's when I will believe it. And it happened. Oh my gosh, Super Saiyan 4 Goku is finally canon and he looks badass. For me, as a Dragon Ball fan, this felt like a dream come true. This moment here will make grown men who grew up with Dragon Ball cry. In my opinion, and I don't know how much of a multiplier the Daima version of Super Saiyan 4 is, and I don't know if he is stronger or as strong as a Super Saiyan God or whatever, but let's just assume that Goku's Ultra Instinct is still his most strongest form. For me, Goku's Super Saiyan 4 form, and especially in the Daima version, because I personally prefer the crimson hair added in Daima over the black hair, even though the black hair still looks amazing. Super Saiyan 4 Goku may not be Goku's strongest form, but it looks like his strongest form, aesthetic wise. It's got the final form feel to it. He's got his tail back and he has fur all over his body, resembling the Osaru. So it looks like this is the peak version of a Saiyan, the strongest form a Saiyan can achieve in terms of look. Now, obviously we got Ultra Instinct, which so far, in my understanding, is still Goku's strongest form. But who cares? We now have Super Saiyan 4 Goku canon in the story, and all of us Dragon Ball fans who grew up with the Budokai games and watched the GT and got disappointed by GT but loved Super Saiyan 4, this felt like an emotional win for us. I remember back in the day when Battle of Gods was announced and Dragon Ball was coming back after 20 years. Goku Super Saiyan God was announced and that built a different level of hype. There was images circling around the internet, this yellow version of Super Saiyan 4 which was rumored to be the Super Saiyan God transformation. It literally was Super Saiyan 4 but yellow. That's how much everyone loved the look of Super Saiyan 4, the form. To the extent where people wanted Super Saiyan God to look exactly like Super Saiyan 4, but just in a different color scheme. That's how badly everyone wanted this form to be canon in this story. Which is why for me, this was such an internet breaking moment because we were all waiting for this moment for such a long time and it finally happened in Daima. Now comparing it to Gear 5 Luffy is almost unfair. Gear 5 doesn't have that 20-year wait like Super Saiyan 4 did. Gear 5 did have the hype. I need to make this clear. Gear 5 in the anime when the drums of liberation were playing and Momonosuke was talking to Zunisha with Zunisha saying, "He has returned, Joy Boy." That was hype with the capital H. But as a manga reader, the hype for this moment is in the manga. When I watch the anime knowing what's going to happen, it's more of a, I want to see how Gear 5 looks when it gets animated. I want to hear the drums of liberation. I want to see the goofy animation that Gear 5 Luffy embodies and how he transforms the world around him into a Looney Tunes cartoon. The manga for me was more hype, naturally, because we see Luffy knocked out, but then we hear his heart beating again, and it was stated that he was dead. Momonosuke couldn't hear his heartbeat anymore. So seeing that, and then the subtle transformation in his hair, and then the final panel stating Gear 5, with of course a manga break, added so much fuel to the hype. Fans were speculating how he would look like. People were thinking his whole body is going to be black and coated in King's Heart. There's many fan illustrations out there for you to go and see, but it turned out that Oda did the complete opposite and made Luffy all white instead of black. And instead of having a serious demeanor, Luffy is a lot more goofy in this form. I mean, Zunisha said this is the return of Joy Boy. So if Gear 5 is in fact Joy Boy, then it makes sense for him to be this giant overpowered goofball. It caught everyone by surprise, and the thing is, One Piece isn't a show where you have characters having badass transformations. That is literally saved for Dragon Ball. For me, Luffy's most badass serious looking transformation is Snake Man. He looks the part, he has a serious look on his face, and it's a transformation made in one of the best fights in all of One Piece, which was Luffy versus Katakuri. Snake Man deserved to break the internet, but it didn't, and neither did Gear 5. Don't get me wrong, Gear 5 Luffy got people hyped, both in the manga and in the anime. The anime version where we got the full reveal of Gear 5, it didn't help that the episode he was meant to be center stage in, he was basically in for maybe half the episode, if even that. That episode was a major disappointment, which didn't help Gear 5's case for breaking the internet. Me personally, I think the finale of the Katakuri fight with Gear 4 Snake Man was much more hype than the Gear 5 episode, as he had the entire episode dedicated to that finale fight between this form of Luffy and Katakuri. One thing that needs to be mentioned, no matter how hype the manga is, when it comes to hype moments breaking the internet between the manga and the anime will always win. Let's just face the facts. People prefer watching anime rather than reading the manga. And now, especially in the anime reaction community on YouTube, which accumulate millions of views, the hype moments that are meant to break the internet will always fall for the anime. Kaido's reveal in chapter 795 was the closest thing to internet breaking from a manga panel. I remember that time where everyone was reading the manga. At that time, was just looking for reactions because this was such a big moment in the story of One Piece. We just finished Dressrosa, and now we get the reveal of the final Emperor of the Sea. The chapter 795 reviews and reactions got a lot of One Piece YouTubers their initial push in views because everyone in the community wanted to see people's reaction to the Kaido reveal. Seeing other people's reaction to a hype moment brings about more hype. That's why Demon Slayer became the phenomenon that it did back in 2020, because the anime reaction community propelled the hype for Demon Slayer even more. Even though the manga had already ended, it's the anime that will forever be the thing that hypes the community and breaks the internet. You can also use Jujutsu Kaisen as an example. When season 2 of the anime was airing, the manga was in the final arc of the story. Now, what got people talking in the internet? The final arc of the manga or the Shibuya incident arc in the anime? It goes without saying that anime was in so much conversation and even won the anime of the year back in 2024. No one was talking about the Shibuya incident arc when the manga was on that arc. Don't get me wrong, the Jujutsu Kaisen manga fans were talking about it, but it wasn't as mainstream. Even big superstar artists like Usher and Megan Thee Stallion were talking about Jujutsu Kaisen when season 2 of the anime was airing. Like it or not, guys, hype anime moments will always be closer on breaking the internet than hype manga moments. Dragon Ball fans have been waiting for Super Saiyan 4 Goku for at least 20 years. So that's 20 years worth of hype, or at least the anticipation of the hype for Super Saiyan 4 Goku to be canon. The Daima Super Saiyan 4 form was revealed in the anime, not in the manga, which gives it a massive advantage because none of us knew that this was going to happen. So it had that shock factor as well. And finally, the episode itself where Super Saiyan 4 Goku got revealed in episode 18 of Daima, that itself was an amazing episode of anime. Not just anime, but it was just an incredible episode of media, regardless of what type of shows you're into. The surprise element is such an underrated factor as well in the anime. For One Piece, a lot of anime onlys were unfortunately spoiled about Gear 5, so that ruined the surprise element as well. That's why for me, Super Saiyan 4 Goku was more hyped than Gear 5 Luffy, which is why Super Saiyan 4 Goku broke the internet and not Gear 5 Luffy.